guys, my name is Jaclyn Johnson. You might know me from some notes on napkins and no subject, and I am here with Relativity Coin talking about the business of fashion. I know you just launched a redesign site and you're in the midst of redesigning, so how has that process been?
For me in particular, I'm in a really unique, beautiful situation where it is myself and a small team, so I have the luxury of being able to play around with things, and if I like it, great. If I don't like it, then back to the drawing board. And that is a beautiful development that technology allows us, in that we can kind of be creators of our own universe or homepage or whatever the case may be. But at the same time, in full disclosure, I feel very overwhelmed by it at times. Like I'll go to South by Interactive and come back, my head is basically exploding because there's just so much development and the progression is just so amped up that for me, I think it's important to focus on, okay, at the end of the day, Closet Rich is selling clothes. We're selling a certain aesthetic of beautifully pre-loved and vintage clothing, and it's how do we get that to the consumer? How do we project that to the buyers out there? And so if I keep those, that simple idea in mind, it allows me to kind of relax when it comes to all of these major developments, because we could all be utilizing them all day long, but if I was, Instagramming videos all day long, then nothing would really get done.
Heather?
Yeah, I mean, Uncovet has changed so much from the beginning. It was like, here's 5 new products, and then they would go away. And now it's a huge catalog of products, and so over time we've added search and relevancy and all this stuff so that it's easier to shop. And so we just got to a point where it was time to just do a complete redesign and become an adult, because we were just like crazy. It's just so much stuff going on, and just clean it up and redo it. So I'm really excited about it. I think it's like going to be so much like prettier and lighter and a nicer experience. And I think that the way that we even design like a product page, it like pulls out the couple things that you really need to know, like the one-liner and all the beautiful images. On the technology side, to me, it's all about relevancy, especially when it's in your shopping experience of like seeing so many different products and designers and all that stuff. So on that side, it's just about making the technology specific to the person, so just personalization.
Yeah, I think being able to evolve and iterate at sort of a faster rate is key for business these days. And speaking about that, I just am curious to hear some advice or lessons you've learned along the way. I mean, you all are successful in your own right, so it'd be interesting to know. We all have our hardships or bumps in the road or whatever, and any sort of specific lessons or advice you guys have.
I mean, to piggyback a little bit on what everyone's talking about with technology, I think I was just talking about this like literally yesterday. I was at a panel in San Francisco, and like numerous women who have fashion startups were speaking to having like 2 or 3 years experience now with their companies. And I think that, we're about 3 years old, and it's interesting to get to a point where you realize that, having a strong tech team is amazing, and being able to like be ahead of the curve is amazing. But at the same time, like users want simple, and they want easy, and they want like utility, and they want personal, and all of those things. But like at the end of the day, it just needs to be easy for them. And I think that whatever your first product is, you're gonna overcomplicate it. Like you're gonna try to throw too many features in and have too many cool wow factors and do all this cool shit that like maybe gets you featured by Apple. But at the same time, like your users are gonna be like, what do I do with this? Like I need more help. And so I think what we've realized is that it's really important to just, especially when you are a technology company and you're trying to iterate really quickly, is to always go back to the user experience and what the user is getting out of it.
I think that for me, I came from a design background, so user experience and design was a lot easier. I think the challenges for me was more on the business side of like customer acquisition and segmenting your audience and traffic and which site to go to and how do you pay for this, and all that stuff was very new to me, and I didn't know the best channels. Was it bloggers? Like, should I be doing affiliate programs, or should I be paying pinners to pin our products? And I think that part was a really interesting ride, and I feel like we finally kind of got it, and we're paying attention to the right data and paying attention to the right people and all that kind of stuff. And there's also just the organic part. Like, I don't rely on bloggers for any promotion at all. Like, I don't ask for like feature this product or anything like that. I think it should come organically, and I think the best thing about Uncovet is that it does feel like natural and real and organic, and the products are from independent designers who've worked so hard on making their products, and I just always want that like organic kind of approach. And when I see somebody, a blogger that's already talked about us, then I'll reach out and be like, do you want anything else? But I think that's, to me, the best approach to grow our business.
Yeah, that's the dream for most people, like the natural stuff. It's always good.
And speaking to the right audience, where like Tumblr, we speak to our audience differently than on Pinterest or Facebook and all that kind of stuff. So it's just this learning process, and once you get it, and then it makes it easier, but it takes time.
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of who you think is sort of killing it right now in the industry, in terms of companies, people, etc., who really inspires you right now?
I've actually stopped reading a lot of blogs. Actually, I don't read blogs, ironically. But the one thing that I do read religiously every day is Business of Fashion, and I love that thing. BOF, when I found it, it was like the magical gates had opened, and it was like, oh my God, finally. And they started doing recently opinion pieces, a lot of like op-ed that was like really great and like kind of like catty, and I loved it. And it was like really
real.
Yeah, it was really real. It really like cut down all the BS. It talks about fashion and social media. It talks about traditional apparel, like it just gets to the heart of everything, and it kind of talks about like all the problems that you yourself, as someone who works in technology and also someone who works in fashion, like I personally wouldn't want to be the person to say these things, because it doesn't.
But you're happy someone else.
Well, it doesn't fit within your business of what you do. You know what I mean? But like when I found it, I was like, yes, it's like the New York Times, but like cattier and for only fashion.
Exactly. So anyone else? Anyone you think is?
I'm really into all of the vines, and I saw what Mary Claire did. Have you seen their channel? Mm-mm. It's like, have you seen it on Vine? It's fucking good. And I am totally inspired by video right now, short video animations and stuff like that. And now that we're doing this redesign for Uncovet, like I just keep looking at this one like static image of our homepage and thinking about how creative we can get with content and short forms like that, and I'm really excited. And I'm excited to like figure out who's going to partner with me and make things and come right from the heart of like, you see something like it's a product and imagine what it could do, or how you can like illustrate it or whatever. And I'm really excited about that whole
definitely. I remember when I think it was like, is it ASOS or ASOS? ASOS.
Yeah.
Like implemented video, like when you can just like watch the garment, and it was like such a game changer, because I was like, that will look terrible on me now that I see it like moving, and you're like, it really, because like photos, are so stagnant, and you can't really, like sometimes you can get a vibe for it, but once you can see it in action, it makes such a difference. So I think that's really interesting. I think video right now is definitely
and even like
everyone.
with products, I feel like you can't, even if you just see a picture or even just a plain video, you can't necessarily imagine the feeling that you have when you're wearing it, or even the reason why that piece was designed. And so I do think that like those short forms just open up like you to be able to illustrate in the right colors, or and animate that, or even have somebody just move in the right way to express what that product was meant to make you feel.
Yeah, I mean, most designers, like one of their number one things is movement, like how does the garment move? So it seems like a natural progression into video.
Totally. Well, and I think too, like we're spending so much time on like smartphones and tablets, and it's really like the new form of storytelling.
I think that like Kickstarter is something that made everyone understand that like there is a story behind the product and the brand, and people do want to hear it. However you present it in video, pictures, or whatever. But I do think that now that we all know the story is important, it just needs to be creatively articulated.
Exactly.
Totally. Yeah, one thing for me is like, and this is actually part of the conference I was at yesterday, was mobile and wearables, and I feel like that's an industry for me that is within the tech world is so fresh and new, and people are so excited about it, and there's so much hysteria.
No, I
you know,
agree.
Diane von Furstenberg like wore the Google glasses, like, or you know, people models were wearing Google glasses on the runway, but like they weren't custom designed. Like it didn't actually integrate into like true fashion design and like and storytelling. And so I think like I'm excited by like Up and the Fitbit and all of these like devices that can like, you know, tie into like your heart rate and your sleep and your eating and everything. But I don't know why someone like hasn't done a collaboration with a designer yet. And I don't know why, like, I think it'd be nice to like integrate those worlds more closely, which I think it will happen. It totally will happen.
I think
I just
there's,
feel like
like,
it's
no
a little
idea.
farther out.
Self-service magazine, they were one of the first to kind of do like an iPad app, and so they did like their magazine on it, and it was great. It was like they incorporated, there would be Chloe ads, and what it would do is you would kind of scroll it, and you'd see a Chloe ad, and you see a model next to a big bottle, and then all of a sudden it comes to life. And at that time, it was like a year or two ago. Now it's like really trendy, and now it's like everywhere.
Yeah.
And Martha Stewart Living did some really good ones.
They have some amazing ones,
Yeah.
actually. That's another thing, too, is I feel like a lot of the fashion magazines, like, they've just taken their magazines and put them in the tablet experience. And it's like, oh, you can, like, tap to reveal what the product is, or you can scroll up to get more of a story, but it's not really animated in, like, an interesting way. So I think that'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah, in terms of things that we're finding cool right now, Net-a-Porter, The Edit, is a must-read every week. And for me, I really enjoy Four Pins, which is a men's fashion site that is...
It's great.
It's great.
I agree.
It's just really
It's
entertaining.
the perfect amount of snark. You know, I love it too. That's a good one.
Yeah, and then in terms of branding, I've been extremely impressed with Dry Bar. I know it is on the
Definitely.
coasts and in Arizona. I'm not sure how far it's been reaching throughout the United States, but their branding is so targeted and so on point, and they speak so perfectly to the customer, and it's such a simple concept.
Their
the
packaging is
simplicity
so
of it.
cute too. It's a very curated experience. They took something that we do every day and made it luxurious and fun, but affordable, which is amazing.
And now they have a Sephora line and all
I
of
mean,
those things. So
crazy.
I think in terms of in a trajectory of a brand and conveying a simple idea, they've done it perfectly.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please feel free to leave a comment below and be sure to subscribe.
Subscribe.